One. We are live, Rhea.
Well, all right. Happy Tuesday.
Yes. Happy Tuesday.
Let's see. So it's Tune In Tuesday time.
Yes, it is.
Today is Tuesday, the 27th of August, believe it or not. August.
Summer is going bye-bye
Yes, it
here in New
is.
York anyway.
Oh, yes, it is. And we had a nice driving mini vacation and we were in Michigan and Ohio to visit my family. And there were some spots where you could tell the trees are just starting to turn a little
Oh,
bit. Yeah. So,
yikes.
yeah. And then more than one morning where the temperature was in the 50s. So
Wow.
here we go. Here we go.
All right. Well, we still have a few more weeks of
We
summer.
do. We
So
do.
I'm counting it down, but I'm enjoying what's left for
That's
sure.
absolutely right. That's the way to
Right?
do it.
Summer is like my favorite time. Although
Really?
I say that because I love the ocean and I love the warmth, but I like spring and fall too. I
Yeah.
like winter when I'm skiing,
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Okay. All
not when
right.
I'm shoveling.
Yeah. Yeah. Having grown up in Michigan, the Lakes state, the winter wonderland. Yeah, I'm not a winter wonderland person. That's just not my thing. But
Yeah,
uh, but still, it's all beautiful. It can all be very very beautiful. So
yeah.
I appreciate that. And
Seasons are nice, right? Nice to
yes, they
change
are.
up.
They are. They really are.
So as those of you know that tune in every week, I see some people on that might be new. So every week we come to you with a message to
Hmm.
help you tune in to yourself, right? And sometimes we take what people suggest, and sometimes Rhea and I just, go by what are we battling? What are we going through? What's happening in our lives? What's helping us to have a breakthrough? We are both certified John Maxwell team coaches, speakers, trainers internationally and nationally. And we stick very close to John Maxwell and all of the mentors on that team. So
That's
we believe we can help to add value to you. And that's our mission. And every week for 30 minutes, we come live to you.
hmm yes. And we are an international show.
Yes, we are.
we've, we've done actually there have been people who've tuned in from other countries, and
Mm-hmm.
then we are ourselves have tuned in and hosted from other countries. So it's been a wonderful experience for more than a year and a half now,
Yeah.
and we look forward to continuing. And we're so grateful for those of you who spend time with us, who invest in us, and invest in yourselves as well. And we just look forward to what the future brings for us. So
Yeah, and
yes.
and we are an example that no matter where you are or what you're doing, you can be consistent and consistency compounds. So when
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
you do something and you stay very close to it and very loyal to it, there are compounding effects from it. And so we hope to lead that example for you. So no matter where we are, we tune in live to help you to tune into yourself. So
That's
Rhea,
absolutely right. So that you
our
can
topic.
lead a
Oh,
ridiculously amazing life. Yeah.
yes, that is our thing. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So today we want to talk about something we don't talk about very often, and something most people don't want to talk about, and that is waiting. 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 Waiting.
Mhm.
And how that differs even from procrastination, and a number of factors that come into play as we wait, and reasons why we would need to
Mhm.
wait. So this still is a continuation of the idea that we are to tune in to ourselves and also tune into what's happening around us, that we are observant, that we are yes, in some ways patient, but most of all that we are intuitive and also very intentional, which sounds like a contradiction to say that you're intentional and that you're waiting. So, I'll kick it off just a little bit
Okay.
with something that I experienced recently. And as Laura mentioned, we're both certified John Maxwell team speakers, trainers, coaches. We're also behavioral coaches and consultants, certified in the DISC method of personality assessment. And I had an opportunity that came my way based on a referral within my own company to present. Oh, that's very loud. To present truck going down the street. I live in New York City. Uh, uh, but to present to a group of engineers specifically, and there would be, and it would be slightly different from something else I'd done before because this would be virtual. And as we were talking, it seemed a bit more complex, but but still, holding on to the belief that everything's figure outable. I had to get beyond what I thought was going to be a waiting period, because I was telling myself, "Oh, this is probably just not the right time. Why don't you just go ahead and wait?" And I noticed that what I was doing too, each time I would say something like that to myself, was I was taking a moment to see how that felt. How does that sit with me when I say to myself, um, I just need to wait. This is
Hmm.
not the right time. This is sounding a bit more complex than I really want it to. There seem to be too many steps. So I had all kinds of reasons why I should wait, but I never got the sense, my gut never told me that I really needed to wait. And it was pushed, what you're talking about. I mean, as I could sit down and write out all of the reasons, I recognized as I tuned into myself that these were really linked to limiting beliefs,
Hmm.
or one limiting belief specifically. And that I really had to, in order to go further, I had to go through this, and I had to push through it. And I'm so glad that I did, and it did not turn out to be a waiting experience. So
Yeah.
that's one part. Now, I had another opportunity earlier, and that one, I felt that what I was, as I was thinking through the situation, it wasn't that I felt that I was in any way limited, but I felt that I needed to wait because the opportunity, I felt I had not fleshed out the opportunity as I
Hmm.
needed to. And it turned out I was really right about that. And because I took the extra time to get the necessary approvals, to get the additional buy-in, I ended up with a larger a larger opportunity, and something really much more to my advantage than if I would have moved forward initially.
Hmm.
But again, both of those examples required me to stop and ask myself what's really going on here. And, is this a time where I need to wait? Or am I just creating some smoke screen so that I can stay in my comfort zone here and calling it waiting?
Yeah.
So that's where I mean, that's a long opening. Sorry, but that's where I wanted to start with that sometimes you wait because you're not ready.
Hmm.
And then there are other times when you want to wait, when you are ready, but you're
Hmm.
just going through, you've got some flare up of your limiting beliefs there.
Yeah.
And you've really got to push through that belief system.
So, how did you know that it was from a limiting belief versus not from a limiting belief?
Oh, I you know me, I like to journal. And one of my journal entries was related to the opportunity, and the fact that at one point, you and I talked about this, I was even annoyed by the way that things were playing out. And everything every issue that I listed was something that I could very easily resolve.
Mm,
And but it just happened to be that there were several issues. Well, okay, but they were resolvable, and they were resolvable almost with one pen stroke, because once I expressed my concerns and shared information, I mean, the response I got back was, "Oh no, we'll take care of this right away." And the funny thing about that is, so then when all of the obstacles that you've identified have been as a reason to wait, because I thought I'll be fine if I wait for the next opportunity. This is just not the right opportunity for me. That's where I was going with it. And
right.
at the moment that every little blockade that I put up had been shot down, then I was left with, well, here you are. You're there. You go. It's there's nothing left but the opportunity. So you absolutely have to take it now. And I'm so glad that I did that, and I'm so glad that I went through the exercise, and so glad that I figured it all out, because there will be other even greater obstacles in the future. That's just how it works. They'll be more complicated,
I,
and I have to develop that strength. It's a muscle. Have to develop that in order to be able to move on to the next thing, and whatever the next challenge happens to be able to blow through that and keep going.
yeah, yeah, it's all preparing you for the next step.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's interesting though, because like limiting beliefs could be so clever, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that subconscious mind can really, it almost justifies waiting when you don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
just maybe not to risk something,
I agree.
you know. And it was like that, and we were talking about this earlier, right? I had an opportunity to do a keynote, and I was going to be traveling for like 3 weeks from the end of July through mid-August.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a perfect keynote for me. It was perfect topic. It was like my people. It was everything. It was a large university. I would have normally jumped on that, but all of a sudden thoughts were like, well, you're going to be traveling a lot. And so how are you going to be properly prepared? You don't want to do this if you're not properly prepared. What if you don't give it enough time and then you flop because you didn't get enough time to prepare? And I almost passed on it. I even said to the director that called me, I'm going to be traveling a lot and I don't know if I'm going to be back. And I was going to be back, but I was going to be back like just before.
Uh-huh.
And she pushed, she said, "Oh, Laura, I just feel like you're the right person for this. I really want you to do it." And I even said to my husband, I said, I don't know. I'm going to be traveling a lot. And he looked at me and he said, "You're going to pass on that?"
See you there.
Right. And so, that made me stop and think, why would I pass on that? Why can't I prepare while I'm traveling?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I prepare at night? Why
Mm-hmm.
can't I prepare during breaks? Why can't I prepare on the plane with all
That's
the
right.
traveling I was going to be doing? Why can't I do that? Like
Mm-hmm.
I want that life. I want that life where I'm able to do all these different things and I want to stand for something. So why am I not going to do that? And so I did it, and it was just awesome. It was amazing. And I knew that it was something I should have done, but I hesitated there. I
Yeah.
hesitated.
Yeah. And that's we talked about that comfort zone, and how deceptive those limiting beliefs can be, and
Mhm.
they can morph themselves into something that we think is really more significant than it is. And so we have to be very, very conscious of that, and have to, like, Like we've said, really tune in and really examine those things. Now, we're not saying just go, charge into everything that you want to do, because clearly there are times when you should wait.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when you should wait. There are times when you're not prepared to do what it is you want to do,
Right.
and winging it is not always the right answer.
Right. But
So,
take that time, right, to
hmm
really stop and say, what's the real reason I'm not doing it? And
hmm
then like when I did that, I got, well, Laura, the real reason is because you're going to be traveling a lot.
hmm
No, and then I asked it again. No, no, what's the real reason I'm not doing it? Because I could still prepare while I'm traveling. So
hmm
it's kind of like you have to keep pushing yourself. And Amy is on. So hey, Amy, I'm wondering because Amy has plowed through so many things in her life that she said yes to, and I am sure that there were some things that she hesitated on for whatever the reason. And Amy, I'm wondering if you could add something to this topic about times that we hesitate to do something, even if it's something we've always wanted to do. There's some kind of belief or thought that crosses our mind that kind of says, whoa, 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 maybe you shouldn't.
yeah,
And so, yeah, so if there is, and you can, add to this, that would be wonderful. And anybody else that's listening, if there
yes.
was a time in your life that you remember stopping and hesitating, how did you determine whether you do need to wait or you're just being put off by limiting beliefs?
And you know what? What we're not saying that when you move forward, it's going to be easy. We're not saying that. We're not saying that all of a sudden we had an answer to every one of the issues that popped up, and oh, it turned out to be a breeze. Because there are things that we decide to do, uh, that we're ready to do, but
Hmm.
they're just going to be tough as I don't know what.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I don't know if Anna's still on, and you can talk about some of the things that she's experienced, and moving forward, and you say, okay, I know this isn't going to be easy, but I'm going to do it. And then you get into it, you're like, this is 10,000 times more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. When I was traveling and I had to work at night, when my husband would, have a glass of wine or get into bed or talk to my
mhm,
daughter or whatever he was doing, I had to work. When we were on our training, I would be in training for 10 hours a day and everyone would go out for drinks and I had to work. So no, it's not easy, but
mhm,
nothing good is easy. Like
that's right.
I didn't expect it to be easy, but it is going to be work. So Amy said something really amazing, and I knew she would. Like I just knew she would. It's important to check your heart. Why or why not do it? Okay. Now that she's got like this thing with my mind, I swear. So that's exactly what happened when I was thinking about that keynote and not doing it. I thought, how could I not do it?
Mhm,
This is a university. These are my
mhm,
kind of people. This is what I speak about, right? Helping young adults and youth. And I can't, my heart tells me to do it. And Amy says, I think for me, it all goes back to a filter she uses. It is taking me further toward my dream and into living out my purpose. Is it doing that? If the answer is yes, I got to do it. Law of sacrifice, dig deep. If the answer is no, I say no. So she uses a filter asking if it's taking her toward her dream and living out her purpose.
mhm.
And that's so great because that was exactly the steps I used. Like, would this bring me closer to what I want to do? A keynote at a major university? Absolutely 100%. Why would I even
Yes.
think
Yes.
about not doing it,
That's right.
no matter what it takes, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't script a lot of my things, which I know a lot of people do, but um, I always leave room for like God to speak through me. Always. I always do. And it pays off for me in huge ways.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
huge ways.
I love being able to ask God, you have you got me covered on this? And having that feeling, I talked once before about that feeling that well, you get it from the back of the chair, the support in the back of the chair, or that feeling of someone having their hand on your
Mm,
back, saying, I've got you covered." And when
yeah.
I can, and this is difficult to explain to anyone, but this is for me. But when I have that sense, then I'm like, okay, all right, then let's go.
Yeah.
And I don't get that sense about everything, but because there have been times where I've asked, do you have my back on this? And it's not that God said no, but I knew that there was something else that I needed to do before I was ready to go, before I was ready to launch. There's a
Yeah.
countdown with the launch.
Yeah.
They don't just stand the rocket up and then it takes off. There's a countdown.
Yeah.
And and sometimes my countdown may be longer at times
Hmm.
than others. So I have to be very mindful of that and very sensitive. And this is not a one size fits all thing.
Yeah.
This is, which is why we're saying you need to tune into yourself, not just you tune into Laura and Rhea, and because Laura Rhea said this, then this is how you do it. No, no, no. You need to tune into yourself. You
Right.
really must do that.
Right. So, Amy, I love your heart. I mean, so love your heart. I connected with her heart like the second I met her. I love her.
Ah,
And yeah, Amy says God's got his hand on your back. But,
yes, he does.
the fact that you stop, Rhea, though, and ask that, is this part of my message? Do I need to do this to will it bring me closer to
Mm-hmm.
spreading the message, or
Mm-hmm.
helping somebody? If I do this, am I going to help somebody, one person?
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, it was so amazing being with people like that too. Like when you do a keynote around your topic and you're with people that just have the biggest hearts and just care so much, and you're in that room with that energy, it's amazing. But again, we could hesitate on these things for a million reasons.
Mm-hmm.
A million reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up switching my vacation stuff around so I could end up being back for that. So it went from hesitation to what can I do that I make sure I don't miss it,
And it became intentionality.
Yeah.
And in the words of Marie Forleo, everything is figure outable. And I love what Amy's saying. And tune into God first.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good start. That's a good finish. Absolutely, and all the way through having checkpoints. But definitely, I can't do what I do,
Yeah.
and I can't do what I am, and I'll be able to do even greater things uh, because I tune
Yes.
into God and because I tune into myself. I believe that very strongly, very strongly.
Yes. And it's so interesting too, because when you realize that God, like God is your source,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
your energy comes from your connection with God.
That's right.
Your light, how bright it shines, comes from how, close your connection is with God. Like when God is your source, yeah, you could do anything. I don't know, what could you not do?
Yeah. Well, and we have to recognize it. It's easy to get sidetracked. from that, and start to think that things that are provided by other humans are happen to be your source.
That's correct.
It's that opportunity that was at that university was not provided, but the university was a channel to get to you what God had for you. And so and we have to understand that, and that helps me to know the first point of where to give thanks, and
Right.
the first
Absolutely.
point of expression of gratitude. So yeah.
Right. And that, that's when things really did change for me too. When I started to view, like, I don't care what people say. The people are going to say that things are impossible. Some people might say, "Who are you to speak at a university? You're not a
Hmm. Hmm.
professor." Like, but with God, and when you are being authentic and true, and have a message to spread that's hopeful or helpful, when God is your source, like, it doesn't matter what people think is possible. It doesn't matter what people tell you, what they say about you, what they think you should or shouldn't do.
Hmm.
None of it matters. Like, you know, people are really not our source.
That's true.
God is our source. And I think when you realize that, it changes a lot of things.
It changes the way you flow. It
Yeah.
changes the way you flow.
Yeah. And Amy says, isn't it great that we can be used by God?
Yes.
That's what we are, Amy, right? We're his little minions running around doing
In
his
his
work.
service. In his service.
Absolutely.
It's a privilege.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Rhea. So what else do we have to say? We are working on our YouTube channel.
Yay! We
Yes.
we actually have a YouTube channel, and we'll post the information in the group. So we do have a YouTube channel, and we're just slowly getting started
Yes.
with with transitioning our weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of Tune In Tuesdays to the YouTube channel. But it is happening now as we speak. And there
Right.
are even greater things to come. There are greater things to come, and you'll be hearing more from us as things develop.
Yes,
So,
and the YouTube channel won't just be used for our Tune In Tuesdays. We're going to put other works of ours on there, other things we believe in, other messages.
mhm.
So that'll give you like a little bit of a taste of even deeper, a little bit deeper, and then we will
Yes,
be coming out with, some other things to look for, because we want to spread our message,
yes, yes.
and we want you to get even closer to what it is that you dream about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to do that on a Tune In Tuesday, but that's where we want to take you.
Yes. I want to take you on a trip,
Yeah.
take you on a journey. It's a wonderful journey, and it's a wonderful journey. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Amy. Those of you that are going to be catching the replay, add to this. This is one of the things that we love about, the community that we are creating, is that people
Hmm.
do add value to each other, and they're so generous.
And share this, and just drop us a line just to say, hey, I watched. I mean, we are surprised when we talk to people, and we'll have a conversation with someone, and either we'll mention, or they will mention your Tune In Tuesday, or it's been called a podcast, it's been called a broadcast, or someone said to me, I saw your TV show.
Your TV show. That's
Not
funny.
quite, but
I
we're grateful.
have to say, Donna has a comment. Oh, here it is. Okay, it took
Hmm.
a little time for her I just want to read her comment because it loaded a little bit late. Our
Okay.
thoughts will challenge us, which is why we have to challenge our thoughts.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's so true, right? We have to challenge our thoughts.
We really do,
Yeah.
because otherwise they can lead us down, left unchallenged.
Mm-hmm.
They can lead us down the wrong path. So yeah.
Right. And we
as
should
well.
challenge our thoughts because we want
Yes.
to make sure that they're conscious thoughts, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes our thoughts are unconscious and they're not being led by our conscious self. And our conscious self is the one that is directing us to where we want to go. Our subconscious self is really about our past.
And we can have thoughts that are really misaligned with the direction that we're headed towards. And if you don't check them, if you don't realign them, they can grow and become these limiting beliefs, and that's what we do not want. That's what we do not want.
Right. I'm sorry. I couldn't get Donna's comment on and then I couldn't get Donna's
It
comment off. So
is
so
important though.
there's something really good about that comment. So James is on and he says, getting deep on us. He loves it.
Hi, James.
I miss you too. James is awesome. I used to see some of his lives a lot, and I don't see them so much anymore because I think Facebook is changing so many things that I don't
Yeah,
see.
their algorithm has changed.
Yeah, so I don't see all that. So I miss you
Hmm.
too, James. All right. So Rhea,
Well, we're at the end of our time together this week, but we thank you again for joining us. And it is an honor and it's a pleasure to be with you as each Tuesday to help you tune into yourself so that you can lead a ridiculously amazing
amazing life.
life. So thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Love you, Laura.
Yes, love you too, Rhea. All right,
All
have a
right.
good night, everybody. Until next week. See you
All
then.
right. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Where are you going? You're going bold.